We mentioned Blanche Lincoln in that Senate race. Here's a glimpse at her closing argument ad featuring a certain former president.
Here's an article from the Washington Post. It says, some national unions made a decision a few months ago that they wanted to make Senator Blanche Lincoln the, quote, poster child for what happens when a Democrat crosses them. This is about using you and manipulating your votes.
And now we have our post-politics segment with Perry Bacon of the Washington Post. And I want to start right with that ad we just saw with former President Bill Clinton. What's fascinating about that is he's not simply supporting Blanche Lincoln, as you suspect he would anyway, you know, fellow Arkansan. But, I mean, he is hitting the unions hard. He's basically accusing the unions that have weighed in on that race of trying to manipulate Arkansas voters.
I was surprised by that, the tone and the anger it looks like from him, and in the sense that unions supported him, most Democrats supported Hillary Clinton a lot of time in her presidential run, of course. I was surprised the tone of that, as if it was, you know, a kind of a proxy fight where he was really on one side. It's not as if he and she have, like, you know, ever are super close friends in the first place. I was very surprised by that, actually. Yeah.
Well, let's talk a little bit about what we're expecting on Tuesday. We had you on talking about Rand Paul after you were in Kentucky. We could see another Tea Party explosion out in Nevada right now. This one actually with maybe bigger consequences, right?
I think so, because you get a candidate here to where Harry Reid could actually, in Kentucky, we're having the same thing actually happening in Kentucky, where the Democrats may win a seat in part because the Republicans nominated a person who can't win the general election. I think we're seeing the same thing happen there. And it's something a lot of Republicans worried about before. Could the Tea Party be a negative influence? It brought all this activism and helped a lot during the health care debate, you know, to drive opposition. But would it hurt in the general election? And the answer might be yes. We're getting some signs of that.
Now, Harry Reid's still sitting on approval ratings that are about as low as they can get. But how excited are his folks at this prospect? I mean, they obviously know that. I mean, no matter who runs in this race, he's got a tough battle.
He's got a tough battle. They think they've picked out. They found the right opponent, and also they think that because they were in some ways already turned the race into about Engel or Loud. Whoever wins, they're going to turn the race into that person and away from them. I think they've realized Harry Reid can talk about passing health care until the end of time. That's really not going to help him. I think that they figured that out, and it's good in a race like this. And you found this 2 years ago when Mitch McConnell was running in Kentucky. If you figure out early enough you're in this much trouble, you can adjust to it. And I think they've already adjusted to it. And his numbers are bad, but he probably will have an opponent no matter what who'll be defined pretty negatively already.
Perry, I want to ask you about a fascinating piece in the Post today about some of the troubles that African American candidates have had. Archer Davis, they went down in a landslide defeat in a race that he was favored. And this is the era of Obama. Right. But what's going on?
I think what we're seeing is, we knew this already, but Obama is even more unique than we realized. I think in some ways, and that he was able. Well, first of all, you should say that there have been 3 black senators in the last 30 years, 2 from Illinois, Carol Moseley Braun, and Obama, who've won. Bart Scott just walked in, and then another from Massachusetts, and that's also where the governor is, Deval Patrick, who's a black governor as well. Most of the country, it's really hard to win as a black candidate. It's not because necessarily of race alone, but because of the fact that most black elected officials are people who are in the congressional black caucus districts. They're in districts where most of their constituents are black and liberal, and they don't necessarily have a great base outside of that. And what you're finding is Davis had trouble expanding outside of that. Kendrick Meek, who's running in Florida for a Senate seat, is also having trouble expanding outside of that. They usually have some amount of fundraising limits as well. Davis particularly not only irritated, didn't win a lot of white voters, he also sort of stuck his finger in the eye a lot of black groups there too, and didn't win the black vote either, which is fairly unusual.
What about black Republicans? I mean, they were touting their recruitment efforts on this. Are we going to see any black Republicans win in the House?
I think we're not going to see any. I think we're going to see maybe one. There's a guy in Florida named Alan West who's doing pretty well in the polls, but there are a lot of black Republican candidates who are running, but a lot of them are running on their own. They're not. It's not as if the Republican Party in Washington, like Michael Steele's been bragging about a lot of these people running, but I don't think he met any of them before. And some of them have complained. Some of them I talked to complained about. I'm glad he's taking credit for us. He didn't.
I look forward to meeting him as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's not clear he's really backing them, and it's not clear there's going to be a great groundswell of black Republicans either. I mean, part of it also, Obama was elected.
All right, Perry, we're gonna have to wrap it up. Perry Bacon Jr., Washington Post. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it.
The tyranny of the clock.
There you go. Get us next time. Twitter.com/TheNote, and it's Arkansans, just like it's Nevada. We'll get out.